Well, good morning everybody. Seems like it's been ages since I sat underneath a tarp or tent or canopy of some sort or another. Seems ages. But some of you may or may already know that I've been spending a bit of time on scooter events in the last few weeks. But also I broke my foot as well, doing a bit of drunken dad dancing, as you do, and I ended up breaking my foot. But in a couple of weeks time I'll be going to the Brighton Mod weekend, and then pretty much 2 or 3 days later I'm going to be going up to the Lake District for a camping session up there. One of the things that I wanted to do today was literally go through, I've got a kit list that's been provided by the organisers, and I'm literally going to go through that kit list, see what I've got and see what I need to get, and if there's any comments from anybody, that'd be more than welcome. So I mean, if you've already subscribed to my channel, fantastic. I'm still trying to build that, build the channel up. But you know, if you like what you're seeing, if you like what you've been seeing, and you like what you're seeing today, it'd be fantastic if you'd subscribe as well. And don't forget, you know, still time to sponsor me for this event, and I will put the details in the description. And then if you so wish, you can go along and donate to the Royal British Legion, which is what the event's for. So let's get cracking. So first of all, this kit list has been provided by the organisers. Now we're not going to be using tents or anything, so I'm not going to be needing to take a tent. However, I am going to put the British Army Basher in the bottom of my bag, just in case I need it. But the plan is that we're going to be living under trees and branches and making our own camp. So starting off, the first thing that they were looking at is the clothing. So the wind's blowing these things around, so I'm just gonna, so the first thing is the clothing, and one of the most important parts of the clothing when you're doing anything like this is your feet, and looking after your feet, and especially when I'm just recovered from a broken foot as well. You know, I need to make sure that I'm maintaining my feet in tip-top condition. I need to be looking after my feet and keeping them in that condition as well. There is going to be quite a bit of hiking. There's going to be a bit of canoeing, I believe, on this challenge, and you know, all of these things, you know, wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry is never too good for your feet, but it is important to make sure that you look after your feet. So the first thing on there is a pair of waterproof walking boots, or some other form of solid waterproof boots. They're saying Wellington boots are not advisable around the campfire. Right, yeah, that stands to reason. So what I've done is I've bought a pair of Peter Storm hiking boots. They need breaking in a bit, so I'm going to be wearing them beforehand and do a bit of walking just to wear them in and soften the leather down. I will polish them up a little bit as well, because that'll help to soften the leather. But you know, they are really good stout boots. They're waterproof as well, which is really important. Yet to be tested, of course. So they are waterproof according to the labels and the spec of the boots, but they are comfortable boots. And I do need to get some decent socks then to wear to increase that comfort. So that's the first thing. Waterproof jacket. So first of all, I was going to look at the stuff that I used to use for fishing, because it's all good stuff. But you know, the jacket that I generally wear is made by Salognac. It's come from Decathlon. that is more than adequate to keep me dry. Absolutely more than adequate to keep me dry, and I'll be wearing that. Waterproof trousers. Now, that jacket, it's got trousers that match it, exactly the same material, exactly designed in exactly the same way, and they're made by Salonyak as well, and they will do the job. Now the only thing with these is they're not over trousers. These are trousers. However, I have put a pair of waterproof trousers in the bag as well. So the next thing on there is also trousers related, and that is quick drying trousers. And I've got a pair of these from Mountain Warehouse, and I've worn them pretty much every time I go to the woods, pretty much. You know, I mean, they are the most comfortable trousers I've got. They are water resistant. They're not waterproof. They're 4-way stretch, very comfortable, and they dry really, really fast. So it's important. They're important to take them. In addition to that, some warm trousers. Now, I'm taking a normal sort of green pair that I would normally wear, but I have got this fleece pair with a fleeced lining. Now these are lovely and warm, and I'm going to put those in as well, because when you're sitting around in the camp at night, the temperature could drop, especially in the Lake District. So it's important to keep warm, because if you don't keep warm, you're not going to enjoy the experience. So moving down to jumpers. So I'm putting one jumper in, and again, this is made by Salonyak. It's a lovely and warm jumper. I got this a long time ago from Decathlon, and that is a brilliant complement to the jacket that I wear. But in addition to that, I've also got a Salonyak fleece, and again, great complement to the jacket, and that's also made by Salonyak, and I couple that up with a Salonyak gilet, which again just gives you that extra bit of warmth, and it's got pockets and things on it as well. But the important thing is that we layer our clothes, because I will be wearing merino top and merino bottoms probably at night, but if you layer up with lots of layers as opposed to one or two things, you've got a whole temperature range that you can break down to or build up to, depending on what the temperature of the environment is. So the next thing on the list is a hat. So obviously you lose a lot of temperature, a lot of heat out of your head, and apart from that, you need to keep your head dry wherever possible. So let's just get into the bag and see what I've put in. I'll tell you about the bag. I'll tell you about the bag when when I've emptied it. So I've got to take a few things out beforehand before I get to. Okay. So from a hat's point of view, I've taken a baseball cap type affair. That'll be alright if the sun's shining. I've got a peak on there that I can. And my trusty old walking hat. I love this hat. It does keep your head warm. So that's going in as well. But also I've got a really warm hat, again made by Salonyak. I'm not sponsored by Salonyak, by the way, in any shape or form. I just like their gear, and I know that their gear works. The next thing on the list is gloves. So they they ask you to take a pair of gloves. I'm going to be taking 2 pairs of gloves. One pair of gloves is just to keep my hands warm at night. If there's nothing worse than cold hands at night, that will just do the job. But then obviously I've got some gloves for working, chopping, cutting, getting things in and out of the fire, that sort of stuff. But they're leather gloves. Really important that I take those. Next thing on the list is socks. As I said earlier on, I need to buy some decent thick socks that I can wear with these boots to enhance the comfort of those. I've got to get them yet, so if anybody's got any good tips on which socks to get for just general around a camp and for hiking, that'd be much appreciated. Enough underwear for the trip, well, that just speaks for itself. A pair of comfortable footwear for dry weather, so when you're not wearing your boots, something that's really comfortable for just knocking around camping. And I've decided I'm going to take my walking shoes. These are waterproof as well. They're made by Gillette. Really comfortable. I've done quite a lot of walking in these. They've done the job so far, so yeah, I'll be taking them as an additional pair of shoes. Also a complete set of clothes. Like I said earlier on, we are going to be doing some canoeing as well, and it's going to be important that we keep everything as dry as possible, but there is always that risk that we could end up in the water, and you need to be able to get into some dry clothes as pretty much as quick as possible after you've been in the water. So I'll be putting in a complete set of clothes, all in a dry bag, so that it's a quick change. So then there's some other equipment that they're recommending that is taken. One of those is a microfiber quick drying towel. So I've got this quick drying towel. It's quite large. I'm not sure what the size of it is actually, but it is quite a large towel. It's made by Gillette, and it's a soft fibre antibacterial towel. Not actually used it yet, but I'm sure that's going to be fine. Toiletries and personal medication, that'll be one of the last things to go in, along with toilet roll and stuff like that. I will be taking a little trowel as well for for obvious reasons, but I don't believe I really need to take it. But it is small and it's lightweight. It's not going to take up any room. A packet of biodegradable wet wipes. So I've still got to buy those yet, but it makes sense to be biodegradable. You can use that for washing and use it for all sorts of different things, and you know you're not going to be damaging the environment as a result of it. One sleeping mat and roll mat. So with this, I've got a roll mat which came from Decathlon. It's just one of these foamy type concertina affairs. That's well long enough for me, and that'll do the job fine. However, I am going to be using a mat as well, a blow-up mattress as well. Yeah, so the mattress that I'm going to be using is the Aloft UL80, which is an ultralight sleeping mat by Trackology. I've used this a number of times. Very comfortable. It's the one that's got the ridges at the side to sort of keep you on the mat. Really useful. Obviously I'm going to need to blow that air bed up, so I've got a little tiny pump by Flextail. Absolutely fantastic bits of kit. This one isn't the one that's got a torch and everything else, or a charging unit on it. This is literally a pump. It'll blow that bed up in like no time. It's and I've actually demonstrated that on previous videos. That's how big it is. it takes up no space whatsoever, and it saves you blowing and puffing and panting. I just need to make sure that I've got it fully charged up before I go. The next thing really is a sleeping bag. So let me just get that on the bag. I've got this in the bottom section of my backpack, and I've also got it in a dry bag as well. One of the most important things really is keep your sleeping bag dry, because if you get a wet sleeping bag, yeah. So this is made by Snugpak. It's called the Navigator SQ. Absolutely lovely and warm, comfortable. I'd be happy to use that all year round, to be honest, but then I am a hot sleeper, so I can't vouch for it in really cold conditions, but it certainly suits me. Certainly suits me anyway. So the next thing on there is a Gore-Tex bivy bag. Like I said earlier, we're not going to be using tarps and we're not going to be using tents. We are going to be building our own camps, but like everything, when you build your own camp, there is the risk that you're going to get water's going to get in. So it's going to be important to make sure that you're keeping your sleeping bag dry, and you're going to stay dry throughout the night. So I've got the Highlander Hawk bivy bag. And the reason I chose this was because it's got two different zipped fronts. So it's not an open bivy bag. It's got a mesh zipped front, but it's also got an enclosed one as well. So you know, you've got different options with that. That's what I'm taking. I have tried it with the sleeping bag. The sleeping bag fits in it nice, and yeah, we'll see how that's going to go. The next thing on the list is an orange survival bag. I haven't got one of those yet, however I am going to get one ordered off of Amazon, just so that I've got one. They won't take up much room. I have made sure I put in a foil blanket. I've got one of those in my bag anyway, just for emergencies, but I will get one of those orange survival bags. The next thing is a knife, fork and spoon. So I'm a great fan of the Kolpilka range, so much so that I bought quite a lot of it, to be honest. But yeah, so from a knife, fork and spoon point of view, I've got the knife and fork. It's quite strong. I won't go into the details of what they're made of, but please go and have a look at Kolpilka, because they are fantastic stuff. I've got a spoon as well. I've got a spork, just as an addition, and a little tiny spoon as well. The next thing is a mug and a plate. So like I said, I'm a great fan of Kolpilka, and not only is Kolpilka a great product, but you know, it looks the business as well. I mean, there's the cup. I love this cup. You know, I'll drink out of that all day long. Fantastic. Same with the bowl, really. I've got a bowl which is absolutely brilliant. I've had many a soup and many a porridge in that, and then there's a plate as well. So I've got the plate as well. So I've got everything I need from the Kolpilka range, and let me tell you, it is fantastic. Go and have a look at their website. I'll even leave a link in the description for the Kolpilka range. Oh, a little bit expensive, what they are, but they are fantastic products. The next thing on there is a mess tin. So I've got the standard army issue mess tin. I've got the small one and the large one. One goes inside another, so you can save some space in your bag. I use it to just keep some small bungees in there, but yeah, you can keep pretty much anything you want in there. But yeah, so that's going in, and that's going with me as well. Drinking water bottles. So the standard 1 litre bottles. Okay, so I'll be taking that. That'll be plenty of water. Yeah, there is going to be water available, and I am taking a purifying kit as well, just in case. We are going to be near a lake, I believe, so I should be able to filter water as well. Just before I move on, I've got this waste pack that I've got. I don't actually wear it as a waste pack, I just wear it over my shoulder. Like that, but really useful bag. I'll go through this now, and then I can move on with the checklist. So in the first pouch, I've got a few bits of cordage, a couple of bits of cordage there. Second pouch, I've got a water filter system, and that's the Sawyer water filter system. Never used it, but I've seen lots of videos where people do, and you know, it's more than adequate to filter water. In this little survival waste pack as well, I've got a small fire steel, a lighter, I've got a whistle, that is a compass, thermometer, and there's a little tiny light on there. I don't know whether you can see that or not in daylight, but yeah, there's a little light there. I'm sure that will show up at night a little bit more. Inside there is a small magnifying glass, so you can use that to you could use it to start a fire if it was a warm day, but you can also look at it, see if you've got a tick or something and you're trying to get a tick out with your tick tweezers. Incidentally, I've got tick tweezers which I keep in my first aid kit. Moving into the next pouch, so the next pocket in the pouch, I've got just a little Ziploc bag that it's not there for any particular reason, but it takes up no space, might come in useful for something or other. I've got my head torch. Now this head torch is a USB powered one, so I will need to make sure this one is charged up, but I have got another one that I keep in my main bag which is battery powered, so it's important to have some light at night. Talking of light, I have got this little tiny torch which is a torch that way, but it is also a torch that way as well, and that is all I'm taking from a light point of view. Also in this bag I've got a piece of fat wood, just sits in the bottom, very useful. A fire steel, a big fire steel, that will light my fire for me if needed. And I've got a knife in there as well, which is a Camillus titanium. It's not the most expensive knife in the world, but it is sharp and it does the job that I need it to do, and I've used this for the past 18 months or so, and it's worked fine for me. Moving into the very last pocket in there, I've got a foil blanket, and I've also got a bit of a buff, which is useful for all sorts of things. You know, that you just use it for anything really. And that's pretty much all that's in that waste pouch. Okay, let's get back to our list anyway. So sun protection cream, lip balm, stuff like that, mozzie spray. I'm not sure what the mosquito situation is in the Lake District in September, but if we have a warm September, the likelihood is that we're by water and we could have mozzies, so I need to get myself a head net, and also need to get some mozzie spray as well. And obviously I need to have a first aid kit. It's got a couple of medium bandages in there, there's a couple other little bits of survival bits in there, such as a very tiny fire steel, there's a couple of Oh, there's the tick tweezers, them sort of things in there, and there's some painkillers as well, paracetamol, that sort of stuff. Yeah, sorry about that noise. It's Saturday, people need to do their jobs on a Saturday. It's stopped now, I think, but it could start again, but I'll apologise now for what noise we have had, and if there's any noise coming up, and hopefully you can hear me fine anyway. Okay, so there's some optional items on well, all of this stuff, first of all, needs to go in a bag. So I'm just going to quickly show you the bag that I've got. I'm not going to go into it in great detail, but I love this bag. It's called the Highlander Pro Force 66. I absolutely love this bag. It's lighter than a British Army Bergen, a lot lighter in fact. Hasn't got the rocket pouches or anything like that, but it has got pouches on the side which are more than adequate to carry what you need. And to be honest, I'm going to be able to get pretty much all of this kit inside this bag, as long as I'm strategic in how I pack it in, of course. But I'm sure that's going to be more than adequate. It is a great bag, it's not too heavy, plenty of room in it. Yeah, and that's the Highlander Pro Force. Yeah, so some of the optional stuff that they've put on the kit list is things like your cameras, GoPros, that sort of thing. That stands to reason I'm going to take it, because I'm going to be filming the event for the channel, and bring you along to watch it as well. So that's a no-brainer. But obviously with cameras and all that sort of stuff, you're going to need some charging facility. So I'm going to be taking a couple of power banks as well, just to make sure that all the batteries are kept in tip-top condition, and they allow me to film for the whole 5 days. So a few other little bits. The whittling knives, I'm taking a set of whittling knives. So when you sat around at a camp in the evening, I'm going to give it a go, see if I can do anything with it. But I'm taking that really just as you know, something to do when I'm sat around the fire. There's a couple of other little bits that I'm taking as well. I've got another knife which I'm going to take, which I've got bands around it to keep it in the sheath. It's a Jack Pike hunting knife. I'm taking that purely because it's got a really thick steel. Okay, it's good for fire steel, but it's also good for battening wood, and that's the main purpose of taking that knife. That's a Jack Pike knife. Sawing, I've seen people with the Barco's and things like that. I haven't got a Barco, but I've got a cheaper version of it, actually from Wilkinson's stores. More than adequate. I've had that for a long time. It's still sharp, so you know that will help saw up some wood. I've also got a waterproof poncho which I'm putting in as well. It's just another addition really. The good thing about that is it will go over me and it will go over my backpack as well, and keep everything nice and dry. I will be putting a backpack waterproof cover in as well. You know, if you don't mind carrying you know, little bits of additional weight, then why not? But at the end of the day, it's important to keep dry, so that you enjoy the experience. Because if you're wet, you're tired, you're aching, your feet are sore, you're not going to enjoy it. So it's best to, you know, do all the prep work now. Make sure you've got everything, know where it is in your pack as well, so you know, so that you can make sure that you can get it out quick. Waterproof trousers, for example, you know, I know I've got a pair of waterproof trousers in, but they're not over trousers, so depending on what I'm wearing at the time, a pair of waterproof trousers really useful if you know exactly where they are when you come to need them, if you come to need them. Hopefully we won't, but you never know. So that's pretty much it. There's seems quite a lot here. Now obviously I haven't put in cooking facilities because I don't really need to, because we're going to be cooking around the fire. Tarp, I might put it in the bottom of my bag, I don't know, don't need it really, but you know, I'd rather be safe than sorry, I suppose. But also these could be used as a stretcher, which is what they were originally designed for. British Army Basher, when it's folded in half, it's got all the handles on it, such like, and it was designed so that it can be used to carry fallen soldiers off of the field, so to speak. So it might be worth just putting that in anyway. Yeah, so yeah, thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. It has been a long time since I made a video, a wild camping video, and I would have liked to have gone out this weekend, but I'm trying to make sure my foot is in tip-top condition before I go on to the Lake District. So hence I'm doing this video in the garden today, and hence the local noise that you can hear. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to click like and subscribe, that's if you liked it, of course. If you didn't like it, put a thumbs down. I don't mind, but if you do, I'd appreciate a comment, just so that I know how I can improve as well. So until the next time, you know, keep walking, get out there, enjoy the fresh air, enjoy the weather, and I'll catch you on the next one.